What if life was never meant to be thrilling? What if the very boredom we dread, the monotony, the quiet despair, the nagging sense that something is missing, is not a bug in the system, but its very design? Welcome to the world of Arthur Schopenhauer, one of history's most controversial philosophers. Infamous for his pessimism, feared for his honesty, and revered for his brutal clarity, Schopenhauer didn't try to make life seem better than it is. He held up a mirror to our existence and asked us to look, truly look, without flinching. Schopenhauer believed that life is fundamentally suffering, not always dramatic or violent, but deeply unsatisfying. He believed the universe wasn't a grand masterpiece, but a tragic accident, and that human life, yours, mine, everyone's, resembles a sentence to be endured rather than a blessing to be celebrated. Let that sink in. But what makes Schopenhauer's philosophy powerful isn't its darkness. It's how accurate it often feels when everything else has failed to make sense. The will to live. Why you're not free. At the center of Schopenhauer's thought is the concept of the will to live, Wille zum Leben. This isn't just a survival instinct. It's the core driving force behind everything in nature. It makes animals hunt, plants grow, and humans suffer. The will to live is blind. It doesn't care about your happiness, morality, or peace. It just wants one thing: to continue. And the most terrifying thing about it? It operates unconsciously. We think we choose our goals: love, success, money, pleasure. But Schopenhauer argued that we are enslaved by this primal force. Our desires are not our own. They're the voice of the will, whispering through cravings, ambitions, and urges. We chase pleasure because the will demands movement. But once we attain something, it loses its power. The craving returns, and so we're back in the game, endlessly chasing, rarely satisfied. Life swings between pain and boredom. Here's how Schopenhauer saw existence. Life swings like a pendulum, backward and forward between pain and boredom. Most of us understand pain. But boredom? That's worse in Schopenhauer's eyes. Pain reminds us we are alive. Boredom, on the other hand, reveals the emptiness of life. It's what happens after we've satisfied our basic needs, when there's nothing left to do but feel the weight of existence. Boredom isn't just the absence of entertainment. It's an existential ache. When you scroll endlessly on your phone, refresh social media for the 5th time, or feel like your days are blending into one, that's the will reminding you that you were never meant to be satisfied. Pleasure is just the absence of pain. Think about the last time you felt good, maybe after eating, winning something, or getting attention. That pleasure wasn't something positive in itself, Schopenhauer says. It was just a break from discomfort. Our default state is longing. When a need is satisfied, the suffering briefly pauses. That pause feels like happiness, but it's fleeting. Soon another craving takes its place. To Schopenhauer, this means that satisfaction is always temporary, while suffering is constant. And the more we chase happiness, the more disappointed we become. So, why keep living? Schopenhauer wasn't just complaining. His goal was understanding. And in understanding the nature of suffering, he believed we could reduce it. You can't eliminate the will to live, but you can weaken its grip. The secret, he said, lies in a kind of asceticism, a rejection of superficial pleasures. This doesn't mean you have to live in a cave, but it does mean questioning the pursuit of fame, wealth, sex, or constant stimulation. Instead, Schopenhauer pointed to art, music, and philosophy as tools that could liberate us, at least momentarily, from the will's domination. When you lose yourself in a great piece of music, when you feel awe at a painting or a beautiful landscape, you forget your cravings. You become a pure observer. Time stops. In those moments, the will to live quiets down, and you touch something transcendent. A light in the darkness. Despite his bleak worldview, Schopenhauer believed deeply in compassion. If we're all suffering, he reasoned, then kindness is the only truly moral response. Compassion is the basis of morality. Understanding that others are driven by the same restless will, The same pain and futility allows us to see ourselves in them. It makes cruelty illogical and empathy natural. Even though he believed that life was tragic, Schopenhauer didn't advocate despair. He advocated wisdom. He wanted us to stop lying to ourselves, to look at the world as it is, not as we wish it to be, and to find dignity in that clarity. Why boredom matters. Here's where we come full circle. Modern life bombards us with stimulation, phones, media, endless distraction. But underneath it all, boredom lurks. That boredom isn't something to be fixed. It's a clue. It's life's way of asking us, is this all there is? And Schopenhauer would answer, yes, and that's precisely the point. When you stop expecting life to thrill you, when you stop chasing highs, you begin to see things differently. You stop resenting boredom and start observing it. You start noticing small things, the rustle of leaves, the elegance of a shadow, the quiet between sounds. In a strange twist, accepting boredom might be the path to peace. You are not alone in this. One of the most comforting takeaways from Schopenhauer is this. It's not your fault that life feels hard. You're not lazy, weak, or broken because you feel empty. That feeling is part of being human. It's a signal, not of failure, but of awareness. Schopenhauer's gift to us is not happiness, but liberation from delusion. Once you stop expecting life to be perfect, you stop suffering from its imperfections. You can still laugh, love, and create, but without the pressure to make it all mean something. Sometimes just being is enough. Maybe Schopenhauer was right. Maybe life really is boring. Maybe our days repeat. Maybe we chase after desires only to find ourselves empty again. Maybe all joy fades and all meaning dissolves in time. But perhaps that's the point. When we stop expecting life to entertain us, maybe we begin to see it for what it is. A quiet experience, a short opportunity, a chance to rise above the will, to become observers rather than victims. Maybe boredom is the first step toward clarity. And if you've found something in this reflection that moved you, made you think, or even made you feel a little more seen, then consider joining us on this journey. Subscribe for more ideas that don't shy away from the darkness, ideas that don't sell comfort but seek truth. Because sometimes understanding life doesn't mean escaping it. It means facing it together.